Hello everybody, Red here. Just wanted to say thank you guys for watching this. This is my first ever review on a game, so I'm still kind of learning how to do things. For instance, this video will contain no gameplay from the game. However, I do want to say that as I get making these review videos, I'm going to learn. I'm actually going to practice with this video, kind of incorporating gameplay into a way that I can keep it synced as I record my my audio separately, so I have to find a way to sync video with the gameplay, of course. So I will focus on that, but I will keep learning. But I just wanted to say that once I get this video, the gameplay incorporated, then I will actually take this original video down and replace it. So once again, I'm sorry that there's no gameplay in this video. I hope you guys can understand, and I hope you enjoy the video. Hello everybody, and welcome to Red's Retrospectives. This is my new review show in which I want to talk about video games, of course, review video games. Of course, there'll be a lot more, who knows, maybe current events, who knows what we'll get into. So, that was a good take. We're keeping that. Okay, for our first video, it will be a video game review on RiME for Nintendo Switch. So these videos are gonna go down like this. Essentially, we're gonna start out with story. We're gonna start out with story, presentation, or no, gameplay, presentation, collectibles, and I guess in the game reward. I haven't figured out exactly what that's gonna be. And then my thoughts, my final thoughts. What is the story with RiME? Well, it's hard to explain. It's very open-ended in its storytelling, which I don't think hurts the game. Definitely makes it really weird to play and makes the gameplay extremely slow-paced because you're just exploring, which isn't bad because in Breath of the Wild you're doing the same thing, but in this game there's actually no combat. So like in Breath of the Wild, you would explore, you would fight the monsters, stuff like that. In this game there's no combat. It's really a puzzle exploration kind of thing. You explore, walk around, explore, find collectibles, and such. But back to story, we'll go over all that in gameplay. Back to the story is left extremely open. You wake up on an island. And the game doesn't tell you why. It just starts off with like a thunderstorm kind of thing. I'm sorry guys, sorry. Okay, anyways, you start out, there's actually a thunderstorm, and that's how the game opens. And it doesn't tell you anything. You know, there's thunderstorm, then your character wakes up. Now, that is your character. I believe his name is Inu. Let's see if we can see it on the back here. No, I don't see it. But his name is Inu, as far as I know. And he's a silent protagonist. I think maybe a voice to comment on some of the stuff going on around him could have gone a long way, but we're getting off track. Back to the story. Anyways, you wake up on an island, and like I said, you don't know why you're there. So you actually go through the chapters, and you discover like there was a boat accident where your character, or it doesn't tell you anything, but there's a character who basically falls off. This character, you see him just there throughout the island. So that's kind of, it's kind of, I guess in a way, telling the story backwards. However, I do not want to give too much of this story away. Especially I don't want to spoil the ending. So I think that's as deep into the story as I'm going. Shipwreck, you end up on an island. Bada bing, bada bam. How does the game play? You're walking around, and you can jump and scream, and that's about it. There's no fighting. There are moments where you need to use fruit. There are moments when you need fruit to call away pigs. But that's pretty much the extent of the gameplay, is just jumping. You scream and you can like alert objects. Of course, jumping, you climb. I didn't go into detail there, but you can climb up ledges. You know, of course, jump over gaps, stuff like that by jumping. Screaming, you can activate statues. And they do different things, such as turning, opening doors, stuff like that. The biggest gameplay mechanic is the puzzles. Now, the puzzles in this game are interesting in the fact that they are weird. I've never seen puzzles like this in a video game before. Pretty much, Chapter 1. There's 5 chapters, by the way. So, presentation of each chapter. So, Chapter 1 is very greenish. Like, it's very abandoned island kind of thing. I don't really know how to explain it. I guess very lush green. Trees, animals, stuff like that. It's very alive, I guess you could say. Chapter 2 is very desert theme. You know, barren wasteland, desert, flooded. There's a part where it's flooded. So it's very wasteland, like deserty, temple ruins kind of thing. Chapter 3 is it's like a lost civilization kind of thing. Chapter 3, very barren, not barren, like lost civilization. For instance, there are these robots who they walk around, and some of them are like, I think there's one that's functioning, and then there's some that are just completely destroyed, I guess. But you can take an orb and bring them back to life. So that's Chapter 3. Chapter 4 is very dark. It's rainy. And you encounter a whole lot more of the shades. Chapter 4 is one of the biggest chapters in the game, so I'm not going to go into too much detail there because I don't want to spoil it. In Chapter 5, shortest chapter of all. I'm not going to talk about it at all because, of course, it's the shortest one of all, but the one that explains the entire game altogether. So I'm not going to go too deep into that. But with that was presentation. The graphics. Of course, I played it on Switch. I don't remember what the graphics were. I think it's probably the same as 1080 on 1080 docked, meaning it's in the dock, and then 720 undocked. I think it played 30 FPS. I can actually, like I said, I think it's 30 FPS, maybe 60, but I think it's 30. All I do know is that the game came out on PlayStation 4, I believe it was, and then they ported it over to Switch. But there's something that I do want to talk about. The physical copy for the Switch, or maybe it's physical copy altogether, I don't know. I just know this Switch version for sure. This actually cost more than the downloadable copy. Essentially, I paid more for this than I would have if I downloaded it. However, to compensate for that, they included a, let's see if you guys can, it includes a deluxe, it includes a code for the soundtrack. I'm not gonna show you guys the code. Well, one, I've already used it, and two, there's just no reason to. So yeah, they actually included a soundtrack. They downloaded code for the soundtrack. I didn't actually know it was deluxe. I have it downloaded on both my computer and my phone. Also, it's only available in new copies, I guess. Like, don't really understand what that means. Maybe new copies for Switch. Maybe the code's only available in new copies, although I think I got this pre-owned. Or did I get this new? I don't remember. I just remember getting it. So, collectibles, and I think I said in-game rewards. Of course, to give a little context, collectibles encompasses things to collect, secrets, stuff like that. And then in-game rewards is obvious. This is one of the only games that I've 100% completed, so I may not be able to go over in-game rewards at the time that I do these reviews. And there are two ways that I want to do this series. One, I want to play the game for like the first couple hours and then talk about it then and there, and then once I finish the game, come back and talk about it. So that would be for newer games. Maybe the upcoming Octopath Traveler. I love the game. Maybe I'll talk about the 3-hour prologue. The 3-hour prologue. We'll see how that goes. RiME has a ton of collectibles. There's outfits, which there's 6? It's either 6 or 8. I think 6. Yeah, I'm gonna say 6. There are toys. I think there's 7 toys. Could be wrong. There's emblems, which there's 7 of them also, I believe. There are lullaby shells, which I could not actually get footage of because it is not a collectible. Well, it is, but it plays this whole lullaby thing. I just didn't worry about getting footage of it. There are keyhole pictures, which essentially tell, I guess, the story of the island, or maybe like the story of like before, or maybe this is like a real island, or it's really confusing. What are you doing? My dog's freaking out, by the way. There are gallery photos and achievements. The achievements are pretty straightforward. Beat Chapter 1, beat Chapter 2, beat Chapter 3. They're extremely quick. Some of them I had trouble with. What is your problem? I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, some of them I had a little bit of trouble with. But they're not hard. A lot of them you can get on your first try. There were some of them that I wasn't even looking for. I found them just natural exploration. So they're very easy to find. So if you're worried about these achievements being difficult, they are not. They're extremely easy. Now, if you don't know the Switch version of RiME, the Switch has no native achievements on the console, meaning it's all in-game achievements. So my final thoughts on RiME. It's definitely an interesting game. Definitely one that if you have not played yet, or maybe you played it on PlayStation or Xbox. I'm not sure if it came on Xbox. But if you haven't played it yet, definitely look into it. It's definitely an interesting game. The story is very open-ended, as I said, and due to the lack of combat, the exploration becomes boring. The game, it's interesting. I think it's definitely a one-and-done kind of game. Maybe go back, collect everything, get every achievement, and then it's definitely a one-and-done. The story, like I said, was interesting. I can't get back into the game right now. It's one of those stories that I'm gonna have to forget it and then replay it, and then I can get back into the story, if that makes any sense. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this series, Retrospectives, and please do understand that I'm using retrospective in the wrong context here. It's simply a name. I thought the name sounded cool. Please let me know what you thought of this new series down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. If there's anything I can do to improve, please do let me know. I will appreciate any help, and if you have a suggestion for a game for me to do next time, let me know. Of course, I have games that I want to do. Until then, thank you guys for watching.